Right, here we see two of what were widely regarded as the finest Springers underlever rifles of the day. A Webley Mark III and of course the Air Arms Pro Sport. Now, in its day, the Mark III was just about the pinnacle of air gunning. It was going head to head with the Air Sporter, but a lot of people considered that the Mark III was better engineered and a much more quality product. They were famed for having rather wonderful walnut stocks that Webley had picked for their they use the same stocks as, well, wood for the stocks as was used on their shotguns. And in actual fact, if I go back to when I was young, I had a 410 bolt action Webley that had a tapered barrel, 410 bolt action, and it had a stock which was almost identical to the one fitted to the Mark III. Very slender. In fact, it was almost, if you put them side by side, you could have sworn they were probably from the same blanks, which they may well have been actually. Beautiful guns, the bluing, everything about them, the mechanics, the way they were made. They were an incredible piece of engineering. When you think that this particular rifle here, this one is dated to 1967. Which, when you think 1967, and it still shoots straight and is still throwing out just under 10 foot-pounds muzzle energy with the right pellets. I mean, obviously it's had a new it's probably had a good few mainsprings over its life, but just look at it. Look at that bluey. 1967. Beautiful thing. Not a hint of plastic anywhere. None at all. Not a hint of any alloys. No castings. Everything was solid, billeted, milled out of solid steel. Incredible. Absolutely incredible rifle. And these things, they point so well. Anyone that's ever handled one of these, tell you, it comes up to the shoulder like a shotgun. You can tell the Webley shotgun heritage. It comes straight up to the shoulder just like a shotgun. But they're so finely balanced, a little bit muzzle heavy. Beautiful slim stocks. Just incredible. The taps were notorious for being completely gas tight. If you open the tap, fire the gun, it takes a good few seconds for the air to escape. They were reamed in situ in the cylinder. And each tap was hand reamed once it had been put on. It's got a tapered barrel, which you just don't see in air guns. It's incredible. And this, I suppose, is the modern day equivalent. This is probably one of the best underlever air rifles currently available, and this is the Air Arms Pro Sport. Again, lovely walnut stock. Again, really nice bluing, really nicely done. Really nicely done. Obviously, when you think about the build quality of this gun, this is beautiful, don't get me wrong. These are made really well. But when you compare the two, you really can see where over the years, the sheer expense of making a gun like this now, where every part is machined out of billeted steel, would just make this so incredibly expensive to build that you'd have to sell it for a small fortune and probably still never make your money back on it. So these days, this is a lovely gun. You know, it's properly blued to a really high standard. It's got a proper walnut stock. You know, it's really good. But again, day and age, it's got a cast aluminium cocking lever. If you look in there, you can see neoprene washers, more castings. just, you know, it's a quality product. It is a quality product, there's no doubt about it. But, you know, look at that. Castings, not particularly beautifully finished or blue, just cheap anodized castings. Don't get me wrong, extraordinary piece of design, and this is the pinnacle of today's guns, really. But sadly, even the pinnacle of today's underlever air rifles cannot match the sheer craftsmanship that went into making these things. They were just so incredibly beautifully built. When you look at it, 1967 this was made. 1967. These, lovely. These, even better. It's just the cost now. You just could not afford to make a gun like this anymore. It just would not be cost effective. I think it was an offshoot of Day State with Tony Ballas or something, and some time ago there was talk that they were going to start remaking a Webley Mark II or a Webley Mark II copy. But even then, pardon me, even then that was going to be made out of castings, because it just was not cost effective to make them the way that these were made, milled out of solid steel. You just couldn't do it. And in fact, even made out of castings, from what I understand, the plan came to nothing and the rifles never materialised. Trying to remember what the name of the company was. I can't for the life of me remember now. Anyway, they were going to bring out Mark IIs. I think they made a prototype or a couple of prototypes, but nothing came of it. Sad to say. So there you go. So that's the modern version. Probably the best modern underlever air rifle there is. Really nice, really well made, proper blacked, proper walnut stock, a lovely gun. And when you compare it, it's actually very heavy and bulky compared to this thing. This is so slender and slim. There's nothing on this that you don't need. They just made them completely differently. So there you go. The top peak of underlever production in 1967 and the top peak of underlever production in 2019. In many ways, it's nice to see that at least some companies are sticking to trying to get the old skills, you know, producing guns that have got really, really good bluing and really nice walnut stocks, because you see so many rifles now that have switched over to this sort of cheap Parkerized finish. And on the PCPs, you rarely see anything that's blued. Cylinders are normally enamelled or Parkerized. All the barrels are enamelled or Parkerized or sprayed up with Cerakote or some other coating. Very rarely see a decent blacked or blued barrel anymore. So there you go. I suppose in many ways it's the dying art of gun making. They just don't make them like they used to. Thanks for watching.